the movie industry is only like half the size of the gaming industry, right?
True. Yeah.
Like
No. It's you
the
have,
gaming
and also
industry is
the
absolutely massive, and Apple's ignored them for a long
and the
time.
customers are very different.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the customers are very diverse, and Apple's ignored them for the longest time. It's kind of difficult because if Apple wants to have a closed ecosystem, like that's gonna suck. Like, how are you gonna support Minecraft? Like, how are you gonna support Fortnite or Apex Legends?
Yeah.
Like games that are ostensibly popular in the culture, right? How are they gonna support Call of Duty? Hello and welcome to the Vertical Bar Podcast. I'm Jared, and I have a passion for all things tech. I'm excited to share our tech-filled discussions with you.
Hey, and I'm Marcus. I'm your other co-host for tonight and for all future episodes, hopefully. Together, we're on a mission to explore, share, and demystify the world of technology.
From our company, Vertical Bar Media, to the wider tech universe, we're here to delve into all things digital. But enough about us. What's on our topic list tonight, Marcus?
Thanks, Jared. I guess I'll see what we have here. It looks like Microsoft delayed their update for the Surface Duo from July until this month. So Surface Duo customers finally got a much-needed security update. It looks like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckenberg have been feuding over Facebook handling of user data. So it looks like they have been threatening to fight each other. I don't know if that user data part's right, but I do know they have been feuding online. Also, the Galaxy Z Flip 5 has been released, so we have another advancement in the mobile market for flipping Android phones.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews on the Flip 5 and
Cool.
a lot of positive feedback on it. It looks like it's a solid improvement over the previous gen. But with that, Linux is overtaking Mac on Steam thanks to the Steam Deck. I mean, that's super exciting stuff to me. Linux is such a great. It's hard to use for some people, but it really is a great tool. And to show that it's taking off and that it can be used in light devices like that. Oh man, I'm excited to see what's going to come from this. But YouTube's algorithm has been exploited to promote low quality content, and we're actually seeing that YouTube has been implementing changes where they're no longer allowing links in shorts and descriptions. Pretty much directly as a result of that video that I linked to earlier.
Those fucking
because
bastards.
that's literally what that guy does. Like, he finds exploits and stuff. I'm like, even though people are complaining about it, until you make a YouTube video that makes 1 million views on it, YouTube isn't going to listen.
Well,
and
so can we
Apple's
still take advantage
M3
of this?
MacBook. Kind of, yes. I mean, the exploit's still there, but not necessarily
we have
to
low
the
quality
same extent.
content, so that would help us.
Yeah. So like, the thing about that was it was just like a single blank frame, right? And like the blank frame was less than the time that it took to render it. So like it just instantly registered a view for you, regardless of anybody actually viewing content. And to what prevalence that's actually been done, no one knows.
No one fucking gets it. No one ever knows anything. Goddamn.
So Apple's M3 Max MacBook is rumored to be very powerful. That's a great line made by a great AI, and let's dive into it.
Mac is back.
What's going on with Microsoft delaying the last month's security update?
So apparently
Duo.
Yeah, so I remember, I think back in 2019, Microsoft announced a shitload of new products. I think that's when they announced a follow-up to the HoloLens, or they did something with the HoloLens, but they also announced the Surface Duo and the Surface Neo. So I don't think you talked about the Duo yet or the Neo. They're both dual-screened folding devices. So it's sort of like how Samsung has the Z Fold and the screens linked together. The Duo is an Android-based phone, and the Surface Neo was supposed to be a laptop that had two screens instead of a keyboard, both touchscreen, both 13-inch. It's supposed to revolutionize the way that we use cell phones and mobile technology. But with the Surface Neo never got released. I don't know what happened, but they never released it. They had a Windows 10X, which is supposed to be based off an updated version of Windows 10 for dual screen devices, and they canceled that and reformatted that into Windows 11, and the Surface Neo never came out. But it looked really cool at the at the announcement. And now for the Surface Duo, people have been wondering if Microsoft has forgotten the customers, if they've been left behind or not. The updates haven't been rolling out as quickly as they stated. So finally this month, Surface Duo customers saw an update to their Android devices. And I don't know what you think about the Surface Duo, but I don't necessarily see it as really being a phone. I just see it being as like a replacement for like the 8-inch tablet that gives you multitasking capabilities. I think that it's supposed to be paired with the Surface Buds, and that you're supposed to like take all the calls wirelessly. You're not supposed to hold it up to your phone or to your face like a normal phone. I think it's just another way to use Android, and I think the concept is really awesome. So it's good that Microsoft hasn't left these people behind.
Yeah, I'm a little wary of product by Microsoft just because they don't have a great track record of making products, right? Like
Right.
physical
Exactly.
hardware. Like, and it's sad too because conceptually their hardware is really great. Zunes, like for all the shit that the Zunes get, like being able to have an MP3 device that I could just plug into my computer, drop music on, and you know, listen to it without any kind of extra software or you know, user experience stuff. Like it just played music, and it was a device,
Yeah.
and it worked. And but it couldn't compete with the Apple iPod, even though the Apple iPod you had to plug it into an iTunes computer. And oh god, if
Yeah.
iTunes detected any DRM supported music, ooh,
We
it would
talked about
just
that
delete
last
it.
week. Hey, can I add something? Didn't Microsoft
Yeah.
with the Zune, weren't they also one of the first people to offer a subscription service for their music? Remember the whole Zune music thing, that online store that competed with
Well, yeah,
iTunes?
it
But
kind of probably followed on the heels of Xbox Live. I know they were playing around with a lot of stuff back in the days of
yeah.
Xbox Live, right? All kinds of subscription services. Towards the tail end, before the Game Pass, which is like their bread and butter now.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting that they seem to be ahead of the industry on subscription pricing because I think back then iTunes, they didn't have Apple Music. They still had
Yeah,
iTunes, so you had to purchase everything individually. There was no subscription service, and then we had Spotify that launched, and now we have YouTube Music. It seems like they were ahead of the game when it came to this Zoom subscription thing. So I do want that to be
yeah,
noted. I thought the Zoom was awesome.
yeah. And I mean, it's fair enough. A lot of people did think the Zune was awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately though, it just didn't sell well, which sucks because every time I saw it, it was cool. The Zune is what they based the Windows 8 UI off of. I think it was called Metro UI, and it came from the Zune, and
Yep,
then
yep, yep.
they
Metro.
produced Windows 8 and 8.1 from it, and that was Microsoft's UI for a really long time. That even lasted up until Windows 10. Windows 10 is heavily based off that same UI, so it's like an upgraded version of it. But yeah, it's just good to know that Microsoft still cares about their hardware customers. Hey, what do you think about like
Yeah,
the rest of the Surface line?
you know, it's really interesting, and I, it's such a low product on any totem pole, right? But the Surface Mouse, it's something that's been in my laptop bag for years, and I
Really?
will take it everywhere I go. And it is such a simple device. It's a Bluetooth mouse, connects
Hmm.
Bluetooth to my laptop, power it on to use it, power it off, whatever, right? It's a slim profile. It fits in my bag. It's just a perfect mouse. Like it's so simple. It's so simple. It's like a Mac mouse, but I don't have to plug it in from the bottom, and the batteries are replaceable.
Yeah, no, it seems like every now and then Microsoft will produce something with the Surface line that's a hit. I remember when they announced the Surface Hub, and I think they upgraded it later on by
Well,
introducing that
I
the
would
Surface
disagree with
Dial.
that. I would disagree with that. Like that's not a hit product. Like not
No,
everybody
I meant the
wants to
Surface
have the
Dial,
Surface mouse,
not the
right?
actual hub itself, but just the dial that goes on the screen where you can turn it
Yeah,
and like open up. Yeah, that was it was received well when it was first announced.
yeah, but
It just
nobody's
most people
buying
don't
it.
have hubs though.
Well,
Exactly.
see,
That's yeah, no one's buying it
see,
exactly.
I think kind of the problem too is that we're expecting maybe consumers are expecting a little bit too much of Microsoft, right? Microsoft is supposed to be the conceptual company. They're supposed to show Lenovo and Asus how to make hardware, but then they
Right.
just end up trying to make like MacBook clones, and it's like
Yeah.
they're not really pushing the boundaries of any technology. And then you have companies like Samsung with their foldable devices, and it's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It's like, well, where is the middle ground? Like, why can't we have 8-inch foldable tablets, and like in
Well, I
a
think
nice
Microsoft
format?
was giving us, they were so more, I don't mean to cut you off, sorry. They were more so trying to give us like baby steps towards folding devices instead of just going straight directly for like a Z Fold. I think the Surface Duo started off as a way to sort of force people into
Well,
multitasking. So
well,
like
see,
you're forced
that's
to
my
use
that's
the
my
two
complete
apps at
point
this.
right there. Like, that's we have literally the screens fold. Like, there's no reason for us to have that. Like, we can. I would like to have a laptop that's literally just two screens. Like one, like you open it up like a book and it's just two screens on either side. Like two high quality screens. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need anything more. Like, I can plug that into a dock and I can do stuff with that. Like, why aren't manufacturers doing things like that? Because they want to be safe. And like,
Exactly.
Microsoft conceptually puts this thing out like, oh look, you can do a Surface Book. It's got two screens on the inside. It opens up like a book. Oh my god, that's amazing. And then Jesus is like, yeah, but that MacBook's selling really well.
Well, it's just because whenever they try stuff like this, the market doesn't catch on. I guess because we're the tech enthusiasts, we notice these stories, we notice these release cycles and these product launches, but for some reason, to average consumers, it's just
I
not getting to them. Like
well,
they just don't know that stuff like this
I think it
exists.
comes down to the consumer in most of these cases because I mean it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg scenario, right? Like, which came first? Which came first? Were the
Me
consumers
fucking being
jaded by
hungry.
poor products, or were companies pushing out poor products to jade customers, right? Like,
Right.
it always comes back to like customers aren't happy with things that aren't iPhones. It's like, okay, well, why are Samsung devices still so terrible? Like, like
Dude,
why is an
Samsung is
Asus phone like $1,000, but it literally doesn't do anything useful like other than any other like $200 phone on the market? Like,
it's because of the
I can pay
UI.
like two thousand
Samsung
dollars
has
for an
the
Asus phone, and
yeah, no,
it's fast and powerful, but the battery drains in like 2 hours. Like, what's the
that's
point
where
of even having
Samsung's
that phone?
ahead. Samsung has superior software. They've been working on their Samsung UI, their One UI, which used to be called TouchWiz back in the day, but they've been working on it for so long. And I think the only other companies that are actually catching up slowly is going to be OnePlus and Motorola. Other than that, you're not going to find all of the navigation tweaks. I mean, Samsung has Samsung Dex, which is literally an operating system like that could mimic desktop capability. And like OnePlus doesn't have that. Motorola has Ready 4, but it's basically just Android desktop. So Samsung is ahead when it comes to extra features. I used a shitty Samsung phone a couple of months ago, and the phone was sluggish. It was slow, but the UI was awesome. It had so many more options, and things were placed in the right position versus what Google does with stock Android. So Samsung is just ahead, and I don't know. It's going to be hard for people to catch up. Also, they're a really well-known brand now. People just flock to Samsung
Well, I
for,
mean, yeah,
for
I got a Samsung fridge, I got a Samsung washer and dryer, I got a Samsung TV, I got a Samsung phone, I got what else, what do I not have that Samsung? Oh, the parts of my
right.
computer. Well, but hey, they were probably manufactured by a company that's Samsung owns, honestly.
Samsung owned. God damn
But
those
I
bastards.
think this kind of segues into our next topic with Linux taking over Mac in gaming thanks to the Steam Deck. And this is where I kind of point to companies like, you know, companies are just kind of stagnant. They're not really doing grand things. Like, think about the Steam Deck. $529. I can get a 7-inch screen with a
Mm-hmm.
2 point something gigahertz processor, 200
Boot,
or 512 gigabytes of internal memory, expandable with
boot.
USB-C charging, fast charging,
Fuck yeah.
and hepatic controls, touchscreen. I can get all of that for $529. And it's Wi-Fi. I can just connect it and play any game locally, or I can stream it wirelessly. Asus has the ROG Ally coming out soon, which is
Woo.
essentially the same thing but better. And they're revolutionizing the industry with these handhelds,
What
And
operating system runs
man,
on the so Steam? for the deck, it runs what, Steam OS, and then on the Asus, it's gonna
No,
run what, Windows?
yeah, the Asus Ally will run a modified Windows 10 or modified Windows 11, I believe.
Gotcha.
And Steam Deck runs Proton,
Oh, I guess that's kind of what the
which is
fucking topic is about, isn't
Linux
it?
distribution. What?
Okay, cool. So how does Mac fit into that?
Well, Mac,
I didn't read this one, sorry.
with their most recent announcements, they released Metal on their Mac 3s.
Oh, I
So,
heard about that.
or on their Mac 2 chips and their Mac 1 M chips. So now with their M3s, like that's kind of one of the places where Mac is still so far behind the rest of the industry. They really don't have external support for gaming.
They don't at all.
They,
You know what they're
yeah,
gonna do,
well,
right?
they do.
You know they're
They
gonna do
do.
their own gaming, and they're gonna get their own developers to make their own shit. Because Apple is gonna do that. I already know it. I don't really know much about this Metal thing, but I
Okay,
feel like I have a
in order for people to watch Apple content on Apple TV Plus, they had to have somebody else's content on there too. Like,
right. But Apple, yeah, no, but Apple went off and did their but they that project started. Apple TV started as a miss. When the first original box came out, it was basically like it didn't really do much, and now it's turned into its own TV streaming service. So, I mean,
yeah,
that could potentially happen, and it's a very successful streaming service. I see Apple TV Plus shows talked about in almost comparison to what HBO used to be with Game of Thrones and Westworld. So, I mean, they might do
yeah,
that with
and
gaming, and it's very
so
cheap too.
yeah, but the movie industry is only like half the size of the gaming industry, right?
True. Yeah.
Like
No. It's you
the
have,
gaming
and also
industry
the
is
the
absolutely massive, and Apple's ignored them for a long
and the
time.
customers are very different.
Only Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the customers are very diverse, and Apple's ignored them for the longest time. It's kind of difficult because if Apple wants to have a closed ecosystem, like that's gonna suck. Like, how are you gonna support Minecraft? Like, how are you
Yeah.
gonna support Fortnite or Apex Legends?
Yeah.
Like games that are ostensibly popular in the culture, right? How are they gonna support Call of Duty?
Yeah. No. The thing that Apple has is they do have the young crowd. So you have a lot of up and coming gamers who may not be as diehard of fans of Microsoft, like me and you are. They don't really know Windows. They don't. I mean, they have Xbox, yes, but they're not
Well,
like
I mean, I
beholden
guess
to
that's the hope
Microsoft. And
for.
Apple might be able to capture these young soldiers.
Yeah, and I mean that's the hope for every new product, right? Is you're going to catch on to
Right.
the new
Exactly.
generation,
Go after the
right?
Twitter crowd.
But I don't know, like gamers are um, really interesting product segment, really, because like they're just terrible investments. Like any money that you spend in trying to capture gamers is like pretty much a waste of money. Like advertisements on games are just literally throwing money away most of the time. People are going to pre-order games whether or not they want, not because they saw the trailer. Like they go to pre-order the game.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'll pre-order after the trailer. I want to see some cinematic
Well,
shit first.
well, exactly. But like you see the trailer and then you'll pre-order it, right? But like that's the kind of trigger. It's not necessarily, I don't know, like it's a really weird market segment. Like it's hard to advertise for. Like I could completely understand that. Not wanting to support it though, I don't know. And like that's where this kind of comes in, like Linux. Like let's say that again, Linux. Like how many people know how to use Linux?
Exactly. No, I think making
Right?
Linux
And
more
that
mainstream will be a good
is
thing.
overtaking Apple in
Good.
gaming.
I actually support you on this other side with this one. I do. I do think Linux is important. It's essential, and I think its popularity may not be with the younger crowd. And I think that it being the focus over Apple for video games is definitely a positive thing for the tech industry for sure.
And here I'm gonna load something heavy right now. Um, I'm in Atlanta with a bunch of with a bunch of family. Um,
Atlanta.
I got two children, and then we got a bunch of grandkids, all that kind of stuff. So my cousins are over, and
Sorry,
they had a friend
I shit
over,
myself.
and they're all watching like Fortnite on the TV, like some reaction Fortnite video, whatever. I don't know, like Fortnite videos, right? Like content. And I asked them, like, what do you guys like about Fortnite? And they just said straight up, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I could play it with anybody, and like this girl had a computer, my two cousins had Xboxes or PlayStations or something. Like they could all play Fortnite together. And so when we're talking about Apple wanting to capture the market and like get the new guys, right? Like that's what they want. They want to be able to play together. And that's why
Yeah,
people are
they
hating
want
on
those
Sony right
tardies.
now. And that's why people are rooting for Microsoft, even though they're
Yeah,
purchasing Activision Blizzard. Well, guess
yeah.
what? Now Blizzard games are on Steam. Holy
Fuck
shit.
yeah.
I never thought that day would ever
Right.
happen.
Exactly. I remember during COVID, I was
Yeah,
trying to
it's so
get
it
into
got
Blizzard.
review bombed. Like that was a pretty bad idea for them to do that. But
Yeah.
hey, that's a big
I
step.
support
Like
anything
me
that
being able to
Microsoft wants to
play,
do.
yeah, me being able to play Overwatch on Steam. I'm not gonna play Overwatch. Like Blizzard sucks because of that. Like I don't support Overwatch at all. I hate it. Man, I loved playing Overwatch, but man, they turned it into such a competitive game that like you just can't be a casual player at it at all. And then like
I actually never played Overwatch.
the first one was fun, and you know what they did? They released a second one, nerfed it, and then nuked the first
Nerfed
one.
it.
Like you nerfed it and nuked it. Like you literally can't play Overwatch 1 at all. There's no way to play it anymore. It's completely gone. Like, I mean, yeah, you can hack something together and maybe play, but it's not an online experience. I mean, it's an online experience. So, like, there's no single player mode to it. It's just an empty shell. Anybody that's paid money for that game will never be able to access it again.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Damn you, Cypher. All right, so I
Oh
guess we
man,
need to go
like
on to the next topic. We've been on this one for a minute, so do you want
I
me to
think we
go on to the
actually
next
went
one?
through three separate topics there, but what about the
I
Zuckerberg
know.
fight? Like, is
Yeah,
this just going to be over soon?
yeah. I feel like they sort of played the media there. I feel like there was so much shit going on with the metaverse and Twitter and X, which I love so much better than Twitter. I think that this whole cage thing was just a publicity stunt, I guess. But apparently now it's about to be over. I guess they got their week of news, and now it's going to be a thing. I do know Mark Zuckerberg was recently pictured, I guess, getting into martial arts and winning some matches. Whether that's legitimate or not, I don't know. I'm going to trust the news on this one, but it just seems like, yeah,
From
I
what I
don't,
can tell, Zuckerberg is a competent fighter. He's capable.
yeah, good for
He's
him
been
too.
training
No,
for
I
some time.
support it.
Like,
Yeah, good for.
yeah,
Oh, so okay, so this isn't a new thing. Okay, hell yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, no, that's not a new. Like us seeing videos of it's probably
Hmm.
fairly like he probably tries to keep that thing private, right? Like
Yeah,
that is so strange to me. Like Mark Zuckerberg, right? The
yeah,
epitome of Facebook, the
right.
entirety of Facebook, right? Like yeah, whatever. He stole the ideas. Not ever. Whatever. It's Zuckerberg. It's
Fuck him.
Facebook. Like everything Meta is Facebook. He is Facebook. And like, how much do we actually know about him?
Exactly. He actually does
Like,
normal
so what
shit.
even
Holy
is
fuck.
Facebook like supposed to be? And like, that's just so mind-boggling to me that people don't grab onto that concept. Like.
Wait, that people don't grab onto the concept what of him doing like fighting or of like what
No,
Facebook
just the
features.
concept of social media. Like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
people that would there's people that completely make up entirely fake lives. That
I
that it's not real.
know.
Like, that's
Social
there might
media
be
is
some
awesome. I
mental
love it.
disorder with that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's sad in some rights, but it's also just a reality. Like, people will make up an entire social media persona, life, that's like not them. And then there's like
Yeah.
then there's like the people that literally share every single moment of their life, like on
Every
real,
fucking
like
yeah.
they are really on social media. And like some of that stuff is really sad. Like,
Yeah. Now you got to make your choices. Like, are they fucking lying or not? Damn it. But
Yeah,
at
it's
the
like,
same
oh,
time,
it's like
sorry.
drug use and abuse, right? Like people taking
Yeah.
heroin. Like people will post videos of them using heroin on Facebook or like any
Really, I've
platform,
never
really.
seen that
It's like,
before.
and I'm like, what is the point here? Like, am I
What are you
what am I
after?
supposed to do with this? Like, am I supposed to take pictures of my
What are
kids
your
and put it on this?
ambitions?
Like,
Yeah,
what
no,
even
it's
is
a
social media? Like, I can't understand these perspectives on it. Like, I can't understand like why somebody would go through creating a fake persona and like living through that social media persona,
well,
or
at
like,
least if you get the
and then
followers, you
like,
can at least turn it
yeah,
into a business, a business following, like what we're doing. Like I was on social media for a
I mean
long
that,
time. I took some breaks, and now I'm using all the momentum to hopefully direct it over to vertical bar media.
yeah, I
And
mean
but not
that's a
everybody
little
does that.
different. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a little
I don't
different.
shoot heroin on social media. I don't think I might have, but fuck. I also drink a lot of wine,
Oh,
so
well, hey, make sure we get those wine sponsors, all right?
I'm shooting for anything right now. God damn it, trying to get some money. No, but I do think I'm glad that this is about to be over with this fight thing. I am ready to get back to interesting products in the tech world. Like I said, this X thing for me, despite what everybody's saying, I think it's awesome. I think they announced video calls for X. I think there needs to be more competition when it comes to social media because I'm thinking of 10,
Exactly,
20, 50 years down the
exactly.
line. What are these apps or what are these companies going to become? And I feel like if they just start, like everybody has like a single use now, and Snapchat does its thing, Instagram does its thing, X does its thing, TikTok does its thing, and I I like the fact that YouTube tried to compete with TikTok. I like that Facebook tries to get. I like stuff like that because when I get in that app store and I start downloading shit, I want to be able to find my own use for these apps, for these websites. And I feel like
Yeah.
down the line, if they're all competing with each other on everything, it's gonna make me find my digital identity a lot better. Right? People can use things for what they want, not for what they're forced to being used it for. So I think X is gonna be really really good for social media. X.
Yeah,
Black
X
X.
gonna give it to you.
Black X is getting it.
I think we've actually
Yeah, but
got
it
through
seems
quite
like
a bit of our
whatever.
topics today. But oh, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say about this Musk thing, it just seems like. So, what do you think of the metaverse? I know we may have discussed this before, but like, do you think Mark is gonna tank Meta, or do you think there's chance of success? Because it seems like a lot of people think that it's gonna tank, and that it's over. Like he is done.
Dude, Meta won. I don't know what anybody's talking about tanking. Meta completely won.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now I know like
Because
they're taking out
what
the
is Meta, right? What is
right.
Meta? Meta is taking the focus away from Facebook mishandling user data, right? Like
Well, they did
for
it.
the entire people are really. I think there's really short memory spans here because, like, all right, what happened in
Yeah,
2016? Cambridge Analytica. We're talking about all
I
the
remember
voter
that
suppression
during
and
the
like
election.
voter manipulation, right? Now
Exactly.
it's 2023 and we're going through like June 6th or January 6th insurrection, like
Exactly.
all this kind
Meta
of
had
stuff.
a big
We
part to
completely
play in
skipped
that.
over that, like that entire election was bought and sold in the first place. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. And that social media, specifically Facebook, had a big part in that. And it just seems like, yeah, it just seems like I don't know if people forgot about that, but I do think
Dude,
that
people forgot about it. We're still talking about Facebook like it's some social media site where we're talking to grandma on. Like,
but it's like no,
that
it's in
was
our
literally
society. It's
weaponized.
making decisions.
That was literally that website was weaponized against Americans. Like,
Yes,
and we
exactly,
completely just forgot
exactly.
about it, right? And it's
It's
now
very
meta. It's like, oh,
powerful.
now Mark Zuckerberg is gonna fight Elon Musk in
Yeah.
the live on their
I'm
X
so
channel.
glad you said
Like,
that. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's very important. That happened like within the last decade. So fuck yeah.
like, oh my god! And even I mean, regardless of whatever we think about Trump or whatever, the first 2 years of his presidency was embroiled in scandal, and it was all because of Facebook's.
Right,
And like
exactly.
that's just and like we're completely forgetting about this now. Like it's just
Yes.
completely ancient history. Like, oh, maybe that did happen, maybe that didn't happen. I don't know.
No, it's like, no, we lived through that. That was our lives. And not
Yeah.
only that, um, I think Facebook even recently announced that they would no longer have a news section, I think, on their apps. I don't know if that was I think it was true, but I don't know when it's gonna start. But apparently they're trying to move away from the news. Which I think is a direct result of because an election is coming up. I don't think they want I think you can still share news, but I don't necessarily think that there's gonna be a news section. So I don't know if it's gonna be because of the election or because
I
what happened
don't I
recently.
don't know the
I'm not
solution
sure.
here because
Yeah.
capitalism doesn't work for news, right? Like news can't be driven by the amount of views that it gets. That's
No, it's
just not
not.
how news works, right?
Right.
Like
That's why
what
we're
we're
starting
doing
this shit.
here, like we're making news because that's one avenue of our 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 plan here for this business,
Right.
right?
Right.
But we're
I
not
don't plan on
trying to
changing
like
my
prop
opinions
everything
based
up
off
on
what.
doing news, right? Like
No,
we're propping
right.
it up on doing gaming stuff, on doing teaching and
Exactly.
technology and like other
Teaching,
aspects of
education.
like teaching and education. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're propping up our news with. And like, I just don't get it. Like, I, I don't get how to solve that problem. Like, it kind of makes sense to me. Like, we prop up our news with something else, but like, companies just can't see things losing money and think that's okay. Like,
Right.
but that's good. Like, news shouldn't be making money. You should be spending about this
Well,
kind of stuff. Like, that's it. That's it. Like, but then it drives into this whole section of regulatory capture where like businesses that are promoting pollution or like doing like this, like they're going to make news programs that basically say global warming's okay.
yeah, no, and that's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. And I yeah, no, we'll know during the next election how bad it is. Maybe things got resolved. It's been there's been some time since 2016, so hopefully things will be in order for the next time. We get a little bit more truth and structure out there. It's not just a fucking wild fucking
Don't worry.
orgy of whatever the
Don't
fuck
worry. The
you want to
curtain's
say, and then it
closing. You won't
sticks.
be looking behind the curtain any longer.
Thank God. Thank God. I've been trying to use Microsoft Start a little bit more, which is it's an Android app, but it's like a reinvented MSN. I've been trying to see how the algorithm works, and I know they have a shitload of
Nice.
my data, so I've been trying to pay attention to what's up.
Oh, nice.
I've just been trying to pay attention to what
Microsoft
they
actually
shoot in
still
my
has.
direction.
Well, no, Microsoft actually has some. They still have some interesting MSN projects like that. Like, I know
Yeah,
their Bing browser
exactly.
used to have like a page that was like news articles and stuff, and like, dude,
Uh-huh.
I hate it. But I would, if I could figure out a way to engage with it better and make it like make articles that I want to read,
Yeah.
then that would be cool. But like, I could
Yeah.
never figure out how to get it to stop sending me stuff about Trump. Like, I
Yeah,
just don't
dude. So
care. Like, I just
MSN
don't care.
MSN seems really popular. If you go on there and read an article, you'll see that there's a shitload of comments on every article. But then when you go back to the actual website of the person or the company that posted the article, there's no comments. So clearly people are okay and very comfortable discussing shit on MSN, and it's a lot more popular than I would have ever thought. And it just
Yeah,
seems like
right.
Microsoft is putting it, in Windows 11, a big part of the widgets feature is news. I think it's a little overcrowded, and I think it should be more for apps and less news. But now they I think one of the recent updates split up the apps portion of the widget section and then separated it from the news portion so that it's not so busy looking, a little bit more organized. But it seems like Microsoft is implementing news a little bit more. Um, I guess because Bing is moving over to AI now, they're pushing MSN a little bit more nowadays, but they're thinking it's Start. So it'll be interesting to see how it works in the election, if it sticks or
Yeah.
not.
Well, we've actually covered quite a few topics here, but we kind of skipped
I know,
over
right?
talking about some of the company stuff that we've been going on.
I think we
Do you
agreed
do
to
you want to
literally
start?
not report news. And oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think we agreed before this that we were just going to do company stuff and not do news, and then we literally talked about news.
Well,
Is that how?
well, yeah.
But
No,
that's good
we
though
didn't.
because
We didn't.
I think we did a good
Hey,
job.
hey, this
Yeah.
is your fault. You didn't
I
put news. You didn't put company stuff in the document,
I
Marcus.
didn't at all, and we just started talking and realized we went in the opposite direction. But hey, that was like 40 minutes ago, so that means that this is working. It's working in some
In about
capacity.
20 miles. I don't
Awesome.
know. Can you hear? Can you hear like the bumping and the beeping in my car? My car beeps whenever I pass lanes and stuff.
No, I haven't heard it. I guess Microsoft Teams is working really well for fucking for
Well,
audio
actually, the
calls
car.
and
I
video.
mean, the car's new, so
What do you have?
I've always actually been fairly impressed with this car's audio quality on Bluetooth.
Is that how you're
Like
talking? You're talking
I'm not
wirelessly?
talking in
I
any
guess that's not
direction.
very. I'm
I'm just
sorry.
like,
That's obvious to me.
what
What's
was
up?
that?
And no,
What'd you say?
I asked, are you talking wirelessly?
Yeah, so like my phone's
Oh, cool.
just like hanging on the windshield. And I'm doing Bluetooth through the car.
Phew. That's cool, dude. Audio quality has gotten so good nowadays. I think we forget how shitty speakers used to be and how like
Yeah.
mics used to be, and
Just
especially
plug in your
transmitting that
headset
over.
again. Let's get a quick reminder to the
I
audience.
know, yeah. And then I just fucking hold my phone up, and I think that's a lot of the things that have been forgotten is that like call quality and stuff like that has been heavily researched and upgraded. But you would only
Yeah.
know that if you read tech news articles. Average
Yeah.
consumers don't really know how much engineering and how much work has gone into the microphone and the speaker. Like it's been all about camera quality and processors and RAM nowadays, but there's a lot of software enhancements that have been implemented as well. So it's crazy when you have like when you try to podcast and you realize that like you know the mic in the headphones isn't the same as the mic in the cell phone. The mic in the cell phone is
Yeah.
just a lot better, a
Oh
shitload
yeah.
better. All
Yeah, and it
right,
looks good.
so oh yeah, company stuff. I forgot. So I do the social media. I will go over some of those analytics, dude. So we were finally up on Threads. I think we announced that on Facebook. Threads is kind of annoying. We discussed last week about there being no desktop version, which is really bad for social media managing. So everything on Threads has to be done through a mobile device. But it's been an awesome experience learning how that works. It's been awesome, like sharing links through apps on Android versus going to a website to do it or using a desktop app. I'm learning how to navigate my phone a lot faster, having to flip back between so many different apps to share. I'm also learning a lot about fucking like Swiftboard, which is Microsoft's keyboard for Android. It has so many more options, and the clipboard works so amazing. But yeah,
Oh
numbers
yeah,
are up.
dude. I use the clipboard in my Samsung Note. Dude, it's
Or if you have the
absolutely
Samsung
incredible.
keyboard,
I love it. I actually use
it's
it in
awesome.
the game that in that game that I play because I can save like links and I can say, hey, check out this video I did on such and such, and just like copy and paste that into the game chat. And
Yeah, and
it's
like
awesome.
if you're constantly pasting the same thing, dude, clipboards are a lifesaver, especially on a mobile
Yeah.
device, dude. I mean, on fucking
Oh yeah.
SwiftKey, dude, on Microsoft SwiftKey, you can sync your clipboard on your phone with your Windows computer,
Oh yeah.
literally, which is awesome. I don't think Gboard offers that. I don't know if Samsung offers that because I don't think no one really uses a Samsung laptop. But yeah, dude, that Samsung keyboard that I tested that out on my older Samsung phone, and it's pretty useful too. I think it has YouTube search built in, which is awesome. So you can search
Yeah.
YouTube directly from the keyboard.
Oh wow.
Oh, let me finish going over the social media stuff. So
Fancy.
numbers are up on all accounts. We're on Facebook, Threads, we are on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter, which is X now. We have a publication on Medium. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, and the website is coming up. I think on Facebook we're at like 35 followers now. We were at I think 5 last week. LinkedIn, I think we're at about 40 page likes. So numbers are going up. It's minimal promotion. We're only posting on social media. I posted in Reddit a couple of times, but numbers are all of the little graph thingies that they show you to have green arrows going in the upwards direction. So things are looking good. Things are looking good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually been feeding into a lot of the stuff that me and Dan have been working on the video
Hell yeah.
side.
Hell yeah.
So this Friday we released our latest Homeworld mobile video. Within 24 hours, it was our highest performing video in the first 24 hours of any video.
Fuck
And
yeah, that's awesome.
a couple things about this one. First, this was the one that I did a thumbnail for. I did a YouTube thumbnail for it. Actually, it has the content that is expected in the video, and it's
Fuck
bright
yeah.
and catchy. And this is where you started the social media campaign for it as well. So we kind of did both of those things at the time, really unbeknownst to each other. I just kind of did that thumbnail.
I know, right?
I mean, hey, I saw a way to do it, and I did it. And
that's good though.
Now it's probably
And
going to
you
be
shared
something
your
that I'm
soul with
going to
me
have to
too.
do every time now. But that's actually
okay.
a critical part to having good video reception, is having good thumbnails.
Yeah. That's the first
So we're
thing they
working.
see.
We have to. So now we have to bring that process back and work it into how we actually do our videos. But in addition
Cool.
to that being our best performing video, this has also been the first week that we have completed 3 videos, and we have them
Cool.
live. So in addition to that, we are now 18 videos on the site. We have over 1,000 views between all of them. We have almost 30 subscribers on YouTube, which doesn't
Hell
mean a whole
yeah.
lot, but it just means that they want to see more content coming back.
Weren't we at 18 last week?
Yeah.
I think last week we had 18, so we've doubled. Hey, as long as we double, that means if we keep doing that and going in that direction, this is going to be successful. Yeah. I don't care that numbers are low. All I care about is that numbers are improving.
Oh, no.
Because that means we just keep it.
That's exactly what we're looking for here. We're just looking for consistently output improving quality, right? Like we just want. This is the first week that we've actually done 3 videos that we'll be releasing on schedule. We have
hell yeah.
We have a little over a dozen videos in the pocket, ready to be distributed whenever.
Nice.
And we have another dozen videos in pre-production, in the scripting and drafting stages. So that means that we are about 3 weeks ahead on content from where we need to be, and that's going to make our lives so much easier for the next weeks, because all you need to do is focus on a little bit of pre-production, a little bit of social media. Me and Dan, we're focusing on the pre-production and the post and the actual production part, and then it all just goes up and gets scheduled out. Then we have another 3 weeks worth of content ready to be distributed.
I love the plan that we have, because we're coming at it from all angles. It's not just a podcast. It's not just a website. It's not just news articles. It's not just how-tos. It's not just guides. It's going to be all of it, which is awesome. There's passion coming from every corner. So it's like, yes. I can't see myself losing interest ever. It's this, dude, I love waking up every day and having this project to work on. It's like, it changes me, and without it, I don't know, I just felt like shit. But now, like, focusing on tech is awesome. It's our passion, and I'm just glad there's multiple things that we have to offer. It's fun, dude. It's fun. It's fun building it from the ground up.
This kind of week has really been, I think me and you had a meeting about this earlier this week. It's like, now is the point where we just start kicking it up a notch a little bit every time. Like, we kind of gotten into the groove. We know what the groove is going to be like. Like, we're gonna hit road bumps and stuff, but we've kind of set up ourselves in a position where, like, hey, if you just like broke our legs or like lost something for the next week, like, we have content scheduled and ready to go, and we can figure it out. Like, and we can keep up a consistent schedule for that. And if we can do that for a month, if we can do that for 2 months, then I think that's gold, man. I mean, I hear some of the stuff that they do on LTT for Linus Tech Tips, and like, they'll work on videos for like 6 months. And it's not like they're doing it every day, but like, hey, they spent 6 hours on it on this Monday and this week, and then like 2 weeks later, they spent another 6 hours in research and testing, and they bought some stuff. And like, videos aren't made the day that they're sent out. Like, I know that makes sense, obviously, but like, people don't really think about, like, hey, this video was actually filmed like 6 months ago, but it's just been sitting on an editing table, like, waiting for, post-production to do thumbnails or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to drive interest or drive people towards a certain product, even though it may not be in the latest news cycle. So I think that like having passion and interest in many different areas of tech, like video games, auto, like film industry, TVs, that we've discussed a lot, and we're going to keep discussing all these things, and it'll be a good way to make I guess capture a large audience as long as we keep
Yeah.
working through it. And it's fun when we take risks. It's fun when we try new things and we just go with it. Like we may not be
Mhm.
trained or properly, like we may not be there yet, but like it's just fun trying it out and then tracking the data on if it works,
Well,
just to
I mean,
gain an
that's the
audience.
whole thing. Like, everybody's heard that it's not the destination, it's the journey. But like,
Right.
that's what we're really doing here. Like, we're figuring out how to make this journey as long and exhaustive as possible, right? Like, we want to cover
Yeah,
everything technology, and like, you
I
just
know.
have to start doing it. Like,
Right.
start. You knew that you wanted to do tech articles. I knew that I wanted to do
Yes.
some video content. I knew that if we could
Yeah.
do this together, maybe we could split up the workload and double the output.
And here we are doing it. It's like what 6 months ago, this was just an idea. Now there's fucking we have a producer and like, we're just working on multiple things and it's just so effing fun. It's so fun. Not even
Yeah,
being popular yet. Like it's not even about getting the audience and being popular. I mean, obviously I want the audience to be big, but it's like it's not sharing this stuff online just to be like cool. Like this is a literal passionate project. And it's
yeah,
massive and it's awesome.
yeah. And like, I really see, like, being on the inside of this now, I really see what it looks like from the outside and what it looks like from the inside, right? Like, I
Right.
see how older people will look at like YouTube stars, like YouTube gaming stars, just like, what are you
Right.
doing? You're playing video games all
You're
day. It's like,
doing nothing.
dude, have you like
So
edit
fucking
that video
career.
yourself? Like, yeah, like, no, just go edit that video yourself. Like, take the video that they already filmed, right? Not to mention all the
Hmm.
content and the things that they know. Like, just take the video that they filmed and edit that together. Like, that will take you days.
Exactly. There's a
Yeah,
lot
and
that
like,
goes on
and then
behind the scenes.
that's just the post production. That's nothing about like the actual filming of it, which recording gameplay footage while recording yourself is actually really hard, right?
And then
I
going
make
back to
gameplay
watch it and
videos, and like,
yeah.
I'm like trying to, like, okay, I need to go through this menu and this menu, but I need to be doing that while reading a script.
Yeah, it's like you have like a multi-core processor going on. Like you are not a single core processor anymore. You are doing multiple things and like I think it's good. Like it makes you a smarter person being able to do stuff like that. I think that's why some of those personalities develop so naturally after they start streaming is because like you just become a funny, witty, energetic person because you're having to multitask. You're thinking from different, you're seeing yourself from different lenses and you're thinking about the reaction and the reception while you're doing it. And doing that just
Yeah.
like enhances, I guess, how you think. That's how I feel.
Well,
Fuck.
I mean, I always will probably bring aviation knowledge into this
Of
kind of
course,
stuff
you
that we're
should.
working on. But like, when you're driving a car, you don't think about being ahead of the car, right? Like, where the car is going. Like, you're
Hmm.
kind of thinking about the car from behind the wheel and like how I control the wheels, right? Like, which direction I want to go coming up. Like, I want to turn right here. I need to turn on my blinker. I need to turn, right? But in aviation, you need to think ahead of the plane, because what you're doing when you're actually controlling the plane isn't
Hmm.
necessarily automatically making a reaction on something, right? Like, if I increase the throttle on the engine in an airplane, it's not going to immediately go from like 50 knots to 60 knots. It's going to take time to get up to that, right? Just like in a
That's
car.
cool.
But it's even harder because you have to think about, okay, well, I'm in, what altitude am I at? Like, the altitude that I'm at changes the air density, which changes how much my propeller works and how well my wings work, and whether or not I can climb at this degree, or whether or not I need to be at a different degree to climb at that altitude at that speed. And like, you have to be so far ahead of your airplane. You have to think about what you're actually going to do when you land on the ground, because, oh, I need to get off on this taxiway, I need to turn this way, I need to make sure that I'm looking for these signs, because you're controlling an airplane. You're not like, you
Right.
can't really stop that on the runway and say which way do I go from here, guys?
I swear I know what I'm doing. Fuck.
Oh, I was supposed to take a left on E. I'm on D. Oh, there's a big airplane here, guys. I need to turn around.
It's
Like
funny
that
the
doesn't
way you
work at
just
an airport,
described that.
right?
The way you just described that, I would have never thought that about planes. You're right about the throttle and it not being like instant gratification. It's not going to be an instant reaction. You have to think about how this big ass fucking big fucking plane is going to do all this stuff. So you have to think about
Yeah.
what's going on
And like,
before you
yeah,
do
as
it.
the
Yeah,
as the
it's
plane
not
gets
like driving a
bigger, like,
car.
okay, I pitch it up and like, oh man, like now I'm like, I'm on a different action of lever, and like I'm actually changing my degree of motion by so much, even though like I'm not actually doing that much. Like I could be in an airplane and pitch it up like a 747, and I would actually travel like 100 feet, whereas the aircraft is like changing 2 degrees of rotation. because of the lever that you're on, essentially. And like with those big aircraft, like you have to be so far ahead of the aircraft that like the things that you're actually doing right now, like you thought about like 10 minutes ago.
Fuck. Yeah, hopefully everybody up there remembers that.
No, that's why pilots are paid big money, because there's so much mental workload on pilots. It's absolutely astonishing on the way that they're able to switch tasks. But it really comes down to like, you'll see some of the things that I build into this business, like with us having documentation and checklists and having operational
I
procedures
love
on how
it.
we produce
I
content,
love it.
like how we do our organizational and how we manage our content, like the naming structure of how the folders are. Like if I told you to go find a drone video, like you'd know to go into our weekly topics, hit the drone folder and say,
Exactly.
oh, do you want drone 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? Like
And I
it shouldn't
I
have
love the
to be like, I
organization.
shouldn't have to think about where that data is. Like that data should be in an easily accessible structure. We should think about this stuff now instead of having to do it in years when there's a dozen people trying to access it.
Exactly. And not only that, I mean, you have people, I've been at jobs before where I've got trained and I'm supposed to be on the floor doing the position and the education was horrible. There's no way to access the information that I'm going to need for the job. I have to as someone who doesn't give a shit anymore. It's just done. It's a lot of me having to do it's just there should be organization and documentation when you're sitting behind a computer and people I guess lose that and they don't understand that
No,
you're supposed to be
I don't think
labeling
they
these folders. You're supposed to be
I don't think people lose it.
putting things
I
in
think I
my
think that
jobs they have.
that's actually fairly high level knowledge, and like it's
Should
so hard to
good.
do, because like, you know like you take the example of McDonald's, right? Like I would love for everybody in the world to be millionaires, but
Right.
there's still the people that need to work at McDonald's on a daily basis. There's the people that need to design the systems that those people use on a daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like those two
Go
jobs
tech.
are vastly different things. The
Exactly. You're
person that
right. You're
I
right.
the person that I'm paying to design the systems to make the lives easier, to pay those workers less to do less work, is actually more valuable to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the more money that I pay my specialists to reduce the workload of those lower level employees, the more money we actually all make in the
Right.
long run.
Gotta think
Which
about
is,
everybody. Exactly. The whole yeah, dude.
so
So
yeah,
my
cool.
mom, my mom retired from Delta, so I am very pro aviation. And I have flight
Nice.
benefits still from that shit that I still don't ever use. I don't ever fly anywhere, and I really
Oh
should.
yeah, the buddy passes, the fuck your buddy
Yeah,
passes.
yeah, dude. Oh my God, I haven't flown in forever. I usually take a long ass bus ride. I haven't even driven anywhere in a long time either. But hey, all that's coming whenever we get super big and super rich and this takes off. So we'll be
Yeah,
flying all over the country, doing business deals and meetings and all that cool stuff. We'll be testing out
yeah.
tech and shit like
Oh
that,
yeah.
and we'll be interviewing CEOs. That's where this is headed for sure. I already know it.
I can feel it.
Did we cover all the topics? Did we go over Apple?
Uh,
I think we got the. I think you mentioned
yeah,
the M3 Pro.
I segued Apple in there because
Oh yeah, we did
Linux.
talk about them.
Yeah,
Oh
and their
yeah,
new
you're
M2
right.
chips. Yeah,
48 gigs
I
of
did a lot of
RAM.
segues there. We actually kind of brought in all the topics really
Cool.
quickly.
remember when we were doing this at first, and our first video was going to be on the future of computing? Remember that? That wasn't that long ago. And
Yeah, dude.
we did a script and we got the information like that. That was
And
what,
then you
like,
died. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but it's so interesting that like we've actually, like, this has turned into something else. We didn't even have like the news in that. We didn't even have, I don't even think we had the articles in that. We didn't even have the social media accounts then. So like that was a completely
Nope.
different process. And here we are. Remember, we were going to talk about ARM processors and the M2 and x86 and all that stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, we should still make that video eventually and put it on YouTube because we still have all that.
Well, see,
We still have all that
that's the
data.
thing. Like, we still don't, yeah, we still have that data, but we don't have the structure yet for how to do those quickly,
Yeah,
right?
those are the
Like,
big projects.
I think once we figure out the drone video that I sent you, if you can,
Hmm.
that and the supercar video, if we can figure out those two on how to make that process, like, if I, the way that I would ideally envision this is I give you an outline like that with like words that are important, right? And then you do your magic writing stuff with that. And then me and Dan make the video, and then you do the social media. Like, that's kind of how we already did the division of labor already. But like,
Right.
how we
There
actually
are
make that
labels.
process, that's actually like the kind of thing that we still need to work on. Me and Dan have the part of the video production, and like me and you have the part of the social media handoff at the end. But the pre-production part, we still need to kind of bring that in. So actually, that kind of makes sense. Like, I kind of like how it's that back and forth, because the back and forth already works for the video and the social media part. So maybe if we could do the back and forth where I give you an outline, and then we can start the scripting process, and then we can flip it back over to production, and then flip it back to social media. Does that
Yeah,
make
no,
sense?
it's slowly happening. Yes, it does. And I feel
Okay.
bad because I like for Dan, I know he wants to do the video podcast so bad. And I feel bad that I'm not in this position to where I can do video just yet, but we are slowly going to implement it. And I do want to let our
I,
audience
you know,
know
I'm
that
telling you,
video is coming.
it's
You're going to see us
consistent
live.
and slow improvement. We don't need to see your
Exactly.
face though.
It's coming for everybody that wants to
Yeah.
see them. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's gonna be even better. But we are slowly getting the process going here, so it'll come soon. Just audio for now. But hey, are we on
Yeah.
Spotify? Did we already announce that? We're on Spotify, right?
Yeah, so we are on
Yeah, we are.
Spotify. The first three
Yay.
episodes are up on Spotify, and episode
What?
4 will premiere on Tuesday with
Hell
the
yeah.
YouTube video.
Cool. I'm trying to get us on Google Podcasts and Apple Music next. That's the next.
I
Well, I
like it.
guess we are. Sorry, it doesn't really matter. We're all doing it. But Apple Music and Google Podcasts are next. I don't know much about Google Podcasts. I just made an Apple ID for the Apple Music thing, and then I guess we should be on those too. I feel like Apple will be a little harder because fuck them and their fucking security and shit. But I also love them,
Walled
so I want
guard.
that noted. But yeah, but hopefully, I don't know, all the podcast services should have us on there soon. But yeah, we're gonna have a
Yeah,
long list of shit to promote, but it's awesome. I like using all
I mean,
that stuff,
that's
and I'm sure
not the
so do
worst
you.
thing.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. It's
Yeah.
fun. I've been looking into all these apps and software for so long, and I'm sure you have too. And it's finally nice to be able to get in there and like use some of this stuff. I know, and finding out how to use it for marketing, how to share this stuff, and who does what. And I would have never really done a lot of this stuff or gotten to test out a lot of this software if we weren't doing this project. So it's like
Yeah, I was actually
it's
talking
fun.
to
That's why it's fun.
yeah, I was actually talking to a friend earlier, and like, he's kind of asking what I was talking to Clark actually, and he's
Oh, hey,
asking
Clark.
what, you know, yeah, he was asking like, what I was doing, and like, and kind of explaining it to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool. Like, you're finding something new that you're doing." And like, and I told him, I was like, this isn't really new. This is what me and you should have been doing from the beginning, because me
I
and him
know
are photographers. Like, we do video production stuff. Like, we both
exactly.
have editing skills, but like, we just were not good at marketing ourselves. He was maybe a little bit
Mhm.
better, and whatever. I went out and did cruise ships, traveled the world. So like, I think we both made kind of a little bit of what we wanted to, but we didn't dive into it
Yeah,
hard enough. And I was telling him, it's like,
there's
this
still
is what we should
time.
have been doing. We should have been doing exactly like this. And I named off a couple YouTubers, and he knew who they were, and I'm like, that's what they did. Like their photos aren't great. Like they're not like Monet, paintings or
Right,
something like this. Their pictures are not going to sell for millions of dollars, but they've
right,
created such a massive portfolio of like content like this
right.
that people go back to
Publicly.
and like look at Jared Poland's review of like some Canon camera from 10 years ago because like they want to know the
Exactly.
history of Canon cameras, or like and that's what it's all like. That's what this is all about. Like people don't follow photographers because like they need a photographer until they need a photographer. Like
Right. No, I like that our stuff is out there and it's public. It's under the
yeah,
Vertical Bar Media name and it's going to be there forever. So it's like this is gonna connect to so many other companies and projects and people and positions eventually. And it's gonna be awesome just to be able to say, hey, this is where everything is. It's right there on that site, and there it is. Here's the reception, here's the feedback, here's the product, and here's what we did. And it feels good doing that than working for some dumbass corporation where no, I'm not allowed to even discuss the work I do or show anybody it. I like having my
oh
stuff
yeah,
out there. It's
oh
like
yeah, because that's
LinkedIn, but like
because you don't
timed
you
on
don't
Mac.
own anything that you do. You're completely owned by the company that you work for.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, up until the days that you're allowed to have vacation during that year.
Sorry, somebody just rolled by in an Acura TL, and I really like Acura TLs. Dude, random car moment. Have you seen like the Acura TLX? Have you seen new
Yeah.
Acuras that they even
Oh
brought
yeah.
back the freaking Integra. The Integra looks lovely.
Ooh, yeah. That's the
It
two
looks
door coupe
nice.
one still, right?
No, the Integra is now a four-door. It used to be what the ILX
Yeah.
is. I think the ILX was a hybrid based off the Civic, and it wasn't selling very well. Nobody wanted a fucking compact hybrid Acura that wasn't sporty, and that wasn't at all. So I think they turned it into the Integra, and I think it's a lot sportier. Sportier is because they used to have the TSX out, but then they canceled that and made the Acura TLX and combined the TSX and the TL into the TLX, and then now there was a compact position that was in their product line that was open, and the ILX did not do well. So now we have the Integra back, right? So it's awesome. Acura is killing it. I don't see very many of them around, but I don't know. I was randomly just going to ask you about Acura and what you thought of them. They're putting a lot of tech in their fucking cars too. Hopefully we can get into this that BMW video so we can start exploring some commentary on the tech world in the auto industry. That was a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so man, the new Acura's look great, but so that actually kind of leads into some stuff because me and Dan's actually working on a project right now, and hopefully we can tie you into this here pretty soon. But we wanted to do like a review analysis of some movie stuff. So that's gonna probably bring in something new that we can start working on, like maybe a little bit of movie reviews and maybe a little bit of
Yes.
TV reviews kind of stuff. So just another area to open up and expand more content. I know you love, Marcus.
Yeah, it's awesome because I know we were all supposed to see Oppenheimer and oh my God, we want to review Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 so bad. Can't wait to watch that movie, but I've just been so busy I couldn't get around to them just yet, but we are going to do it. Whether it's
Yeah.
in the news cycle or not, we're going to publicly talk about those movies because they're awesome. And
Yes. Well, I mean, I've heard it called like low hanging fruit, but like, dude, that's just what we kind of have to pick up right now. Like, we have to
right,
figure out what content's going to work for us. We all
exactly.
love
Can't
movies.
do
Me and Dan
everything
are
yet.
video producers. Like, we understand films on a very technical level,
Right.
and you understand writing and like character development and things like that. So, like, I think we have some perspectives that we can bring into this, and yeah, more content.
Dude, are we adding anybody like anytime soon, do you think? Or is it just going to be us? Like, what do you think about
Talked
the
to
team?
Clark. Talked to Clark recently about this.
Cool.
Because he does like CNC work, so I'd like
Okay.
to see about him doing some stuff like that. I think he was kind of interested after our talk today, so we'll see if that explores with me at all.
Cool. We need to get somebody to do the website. So we need also because
Yeah,
like I don't know. Is that a
We need
focusing?
to
I
make
know
some money.
we're doing a lot. I know we're doing a lot. It's fun thinking about the future, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm cool with Quark.
we need to make
That'd be
some
cool.
money. That's what we need to do.
I
Number
know,
one.
I know. Hey,
Chee.
Upwork is a focus for tomorrow and Tuesday for me. I have tomorrow afternoon and Tuesday afternoon free, so Upwork proposals will be a
Fantastic.
primary focus for that. Okay?
I think I got
Cool.
another 10 free connects for another month of being
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
user.
I forgot. Yeah, because now it's all yeah, cool, awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I guess what's up,
Well,
Jared? What
yeah,
are we
I
doing
guess that's
now?
all the time. I guess that's all the time we have for today on the Vertical Bar podcast. As always, it's been a blast exploring technology with all of you.
Right. It has, Jared. It has. And remember, folks, if you want to learn more about the topics we discussed, check out the description with the links that we post to social media accounts. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for more tech reviews. We're on YouTube and Spotify. Don't forget.
Absolutely, Marcus. And we'd love to hear from you. Reach out with question ideas or just to say hi. We're on all major social platforms as Vertical Bar Media.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can message us. Yay, you can message now, message our profiles and our pages on Facebook. You can message us on Instagram. You can message us on all the major social media platforms. So send us a shout out or just come tell us to fuck off. I don't know. Until
Yeah,
next time, keep exploring.
slide in my DMs, yo.
There you go, yo. Hey, so until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the only constant in technology is change. Got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Finally, I've been fucking that up for what, 4 weeks now?
Hey, it only took episode number 5 for you to get that right.
I
Hey,
know.
that is
That's what they say.
numbers. That's statistics. You know now.
There you go.